Yeah. Oh, definitely. Sound familiar? We have all been there. But seriously, stop pretending you heard what they just said. It turns out asking for a repeat is actually the absolute fastest way to take control of a phone call. You know the exact feeling I'm talking about, right? You're on the line, your mind wanders for a split second, or the connection blips, and suddenly you've totally lost the thread of the conversation. Panic sets in, your internal monologue starts racing. Oh no, what did they just ask? If I say yes, did I just agree to take on some massive project? Should I fake a bad connection? So you just nod along blindly, falling right into the trap of faking it. Well, in today's explainer, we are going to completely reframe this really common anxiety. We're going to take the intimidation out of the phone and turn what feels like a terrifying moment of weakness into a totally professional power move. All right, let's dive right in. Here's our simple roadmap designed to immediately reduce your cognitive load. First, why we fear the phone. Second, the 30-second practice victory. Third, scripting your safety net. Fourth, handling uncooperative callers. And finally, number 5, the ultimate power move. Starting off with Section 1, why we fear the phone and the biology behind the freeze. Be honest with me here. Have you ever just completely frozen up on a phone call? Maybe you're a bit intimidated by talking to strangers, or you're absolutely terrified of losing the thread of the conversation and saying the wrong thing. That fear of missing out on crucial context, it's incredibly common. But here's what's really fascinating. Your fear isn't some sort of character flaw. It's an actual biological reality. See, when you feel that phone anxiety bubbling up, your brain is actually triggering a sympathetic nervous system response. It's interpreting the pressure of that phone call as a literal survival threat. Because a phone call strips away all that visual context and body language we rely on, your brain treats an unexpected pause, or the pressure to respond right away, like a predator lurking in the bushes. It turns on the fight, flight, or freeze response, flooding your body with cortisol and adrenaline. You freeze up because your biology is preparing you to survive a physical danger, not to, casually chat about a quarterly report. So how do we counteract this? Well, we have to consciously move from that anxious sympathetic state into a calm, grounded parasympathetic state. And our source material gives us a remarkably simple antidote for this. You just breathe. Seriously, taking a couple of deep, slow breaths before or even during your phone call physically stimulates your vagus nerve. This sends a direct biological signal to your brain saying, hey, we are safe. It effectively acts like a giant reset switch, letting your prefrontal cortex, your logical brain, come back online so you can actually think through things clearly. Which brings us to Section 2, the 30-second practice victory, building your confidence muscle. Okay, now that we know how to calm our biology down, we need to tactically escalate our response to phone anxiety without triggering total panic. And we do this through a highly structured, super low-stakes practice run. Check this out. At 0 seconds, you dial a local business. At 15 seconds, you ask a really basic question, like what their store hours are. And at 30 seconds, you say thank you and hang up. That's literally it. You know that massive rush of relief you feel when you hang up? That is clear, undeniable proof to your brain that you survived unharmed. It is a definitive 30-second victory. In fact, you can literally steal this exact script right now. Hi, I was wondering what your store hours are today. Notice what's happening here. You aren't committing to a long conversation. You aren't negotiating a high-stakes contract. By asking a closed, purely factual question, you completely remove the pressure of navigating a complex social dance. You're just flexing your confidence muscle. Just making one simple practice call like this can effectively reset your entire nervous system's relationship with the telephone. Let's move right along to Section 3, scripting your safety net, preparing for the freeze. The absolutely crucial point here is that preparation is an incredible tool for immediate calm. If you're worried that you might forget some key information or misspeak, just write down your important notes before you ever dial the number. Listen, this is not a sign of weakness. It's a brilliant, highly professional tactic. You are literally creating a physical safety net for yourself, and the best part? Simply knowing those notes are sitting right there in front of you is often enough to prevent the freeze from happening in the first place. But hey, if your sympathetic nervous system does kick in and your mind goes completely blank, no problem. You just look down, refer to your notes, and get right back on track. Next up is Section 4, handling uncooperative callers and de-escalating tension. Now, this addresses the highest stakes scenario. What happens if the person on the other end of the line is upset or totally uncooperative? It is so incredibly easy to fall into an emotional reaction, right? Matching their frustration and just escalating the whole conflict. But the winning strategy here is adopting a fact-based point of view. You stay calm to help calm them down, actively listen, acknowledge how they feel, and then calmly pivot to a practical, factual approach. This doesn't just soothe the caller, it actually de-escalates your own biology by giving your brain a logical, problem-solving task to focus on, which stops your sympathetic nervous system from hijacking the entire call. And finally, we reach Section 5, the ultimate power move, normalizing the repeat. We are finally tackling the exact moment most people dread more than anything, missing what the other person just said. Well, here is your script. Sorry, I didn't catch that. Could you repeat yourself? I want you to let that sink in for a second. The source material emphasizes over and over that this is a completely normal, incredibly common request. When you're having trouble hearing someone or your focus just slips for a second, recognizing the reality that asking them to repeat themselves actually makes the conversation go smoother, well, it's incredibly freeing. And this brings us to the real payoff of this entire explainer. Saying "I didn't catch that" is a power move. It is not a weakness. Seriously, stop pretending you heard them. When you confidently ask for clarification, you are assertively taking control of the call. You are managing the dialogue, and you are proving that you care about accuracy. You are an active participant, not just a passive victim of the phone. We've seen exactly how to calm our biology down, build our confidence through practice, script out our safety nets, handle those really difficult callers, and reclaim control. So I want to leave you with this one provocative question. Who are you going to call to claim your first 30-second victory? Take the intimidation out of the phone, apply this newly reframed confidence, and go make that practice call today.